GOP presidential frontrunner Donald Trump topping more polls and at the same time talking his way into more controversy. Here are the new polls. A CNN poll showing Trump surging to 32% among GOP voters. But get this, the Donald doing even better among women. That same poll finding 33% of women support Trump. Now, that's a 13% increase since August. But then fast forward to right now, the billionaire businessman taking heat for comments he made about Carly Fiorina in a Rolling Stone article published yesterday. Trump reportedly saying, "Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that?" Can you imagine that? The face of our next president. So what does Donald Trump have to say now? Donald Trump joins us. Good evening, sir.
Hello, Greta.
All right, Donald, I got to tell you, I do take issue with your personal comment at another candidate like that. I know you've made personal comments about others like Governor Perry and others, but what are your thoughts? Do you want to take this one back about Carly Fiorina?
No, I'm talking about persona. We were watching television. Her persona is all tied up when you think about it. She's had a tremendous failed business. If you look at Hewlett-Packard, if you look at Lucent before Hewlett-Packard, she hasn't done well. And the only reason I even bring it up is, frankly, she hit me, she attacked me, and I therefore have to respond, and I've responded. And we're really talking about not a physical thing. We're talking about the persona. This is a woman that gets tremendous publicity, mostly on Fox, to be honest with you, and I don't know why, because I guess in that poll that you just quoted, she's at a very low number. But she gets tremendous amounts of publicity, but her past doesn't go along with the publicity she's getting. So she mentioned something about me, she knocks me, and when somebody knocks me like Jeb Bush or anybody else, I at least decide that I think it's appropriate to fight back. But we're talking only about her persona.
All right. Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but just so that I'm on the record to let you know, is I don't think you're a first-time offender making a personal crack at a woman. That's the first thing. And second thing is that you didn't. The remark was about her face and not about her persona. So, but anyway, I don't want to beat a dead horse.
It all goes hand in hand, and many of the statements. And if you notice, I'm leading with women, and this is nothing new because a colleague of yours mentioned something during the last debate. So this is nothing new, and yet I'm leading with women. Many of those comments are made as an entertainer because I did The Apprentice. It was one of the top shows on television. I decided not to do it again because I wanted to run for president, but some comments are made as an entertainer, and as everybody said, as an entertainer is a much different ballgame. So, what can I say? I'm leading with the evangelicals. I'm leading with women. As you probably saw, I'm leading with African Americans with a very high number, and I'm leading with Hispanics, which is very interesting, and I'm not surprised because I'm going to bring jobs back to our country.
All right. Well, I noted right at the beginning those two polls that you cited. It is indeed true. You're leading nationally among the GOP, and you do have a bump up with women, leading in women, and a significant bump up since August. That is a fact. I'll give you that much. All right. Now, Dr. Ben,
I'd like to say that nobody understands and nobody wants to do more for women. And as far as women's health issues, which is a big thing, as you know, Jeb Bush wanted to not fund women's health issues. And I said, I can't believe it. Then he said he misspoke. And I will, believe me, Ivanka was talking to me. My wife was talking to me. She said, you cherish women. You really have to talk about it a little bit more. And nobody will protect women, and nobody cares more about women or respects women more than I do, Greta.
All right. Do you know what, though, Donald? You're talking about women's issues, and I'm fine on that. That's fair game, to fight about women's issues, whether or not it's women's health or funding or Planned Parenthood or anything. My objection to you is that, as I just thought it was low rent to take a swipe at her looks. And, and like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse.
Well,
and
I told you, this was the whole persona. This was not the looks. This was the whole persona.
Okay, let's move on to Dr. Ben Carson. You're now having a bit of a spat with him, and I'm just, in part, you say he's not a great religious figure and merely an okay doctor. Let's start with the okay doctor. I got to tell you, he's more than an okay doctor, so I'll take issue with that. He's a darn good doctor, and he's saved a lot of lives, but nonetheless, why are you saying that about him?
Well, I'm not sure that everybody agrees with that, but I'm sure he's a good doctor. I think that he's overrated as a doctor, but we'll see. I think maybe as time goes by, he was another one. I mean, he was very nice. I had no problems. I don't know him very well. He goes to my club in Palm Beach, the Mar-a-Lago club sometimes, but I really don't know him. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he starts attacking my faith. Now, I don't know him. He doesn't know me. Why would he attack my faith? I thought that was a terrible thing. I don't attack people's faith when I don't know somebody, and I wouldn't attack it anyway. So I thought it was very inappropriate that he did that, and I thought it was nasty. So I let people know how I feel.
All right, let's go across the aisle. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton seizing the moment for your comment about Carly Fiorina, now saying that she would love to debate you. Your thoughts on Hillary Clinton wanting to debate you?
Well, I probably can think of nobody I'd rather debate. She was the worst Secretary of State in the history of this country, although I think John Kerry's going to top her with this crazy deal that he's made with Iran, which is one of the worst I've ever seen of any kind of a deal. But Hillary, until now, was the worst Secretary of State in history. I think beating her in a debate would be one of the easy challenges of my life. That I can say.
All right, let me ask you about that, because in 2012, I saw an article where apparently in 2012 you told me, I happened to be telling me on the air that she was a great or a fantastic Secretary of State, and that was the last year she was a Secretary of State, and between 2012 and now today she's gotten awful. What happened?
Well, as a businessman, and a lot of the magazines have been calling me a world-class businessman, which is always nice. I built a net worth of over $10 billion with a great company and all of that. It was my obligation to get along well with everybody that's a politician, and I got along with Nancy Pelosi, I got along with Harry Reid, I get along with everybody because that's my obligation to my company, to my family, to my employees. I have thousands and thousands of employees. I have an obligation. I don't want to go around saying bad things about people. When you look at the result,
well, were you pulling my leg? In 2012 when you said she was so great?
No, Greta, but I'm not going to say bad things about major politicians in this country when I'm running a major company where I need things and outside of the United States. I mean, I have international trade. I have international businesses. I'm not going to go around saying bad things about people. There was no reason to. Now, when you look at the result of her labor, it's been a disaster. The world is blown up during her regime, and I think everybody would pretty much agree with me. But again, it certainly has not gotten any better since she left.
All right, there are about 4 million refugees, Syrian refugees, trying to escape that civil war. There are about 360 to 400,000 now in the region, in the area of Hungary. There's no place with uncertainty where they're going to go. President Obama says now that he's going to take 10,000, which is not very many. Those refugees actually don't even want to come here. They want to go home. If it were President Trump today, with the situation as is, what would you do?
Well, first of all, I can understand why he wants to take 10,000, because on a humanitarian basis, it is just a horrible thing to witness and to watch. Had he gone across the line, the artificial line that he drew in the sand, had he done that, I think you probably would have had a much different situation today. But you look at other countries, you look at the Gulf states, you look at Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Bahrain and all of the other, states, the other countries over there. They're not taking any. They won't take one. I can't believe how Germany has opened its borders, because I'm not sure that that's going to end up being politically popular. But on a humane basis, it's amazing what Merkel is doing. I think this. We have tremendous problems in our country. We have our own border problems. Europe is Europe, and you know what? They should take care of that situation, and they should do it well, and they should do it humanely. But we have tremendous problems in our country. We owe $19 trillion. We're a total mess. We have to take care of our veterans. We have to take care of our own people. And I think we shouldn't be at a position where we, on top of everything else, are going to be adding tremendous. Now, 10,000 people.
Let me ask you though, if the perception is that we want to be the exceptional nation, there are ways to help without taking people in necessarily or spending a dime. It's called leadership. It's called solutions, trying to figure this out. One idea was to create a safe zone in Syria that is policed by many nations so these people can return. I mean, there are ideas. Do you have sort of an idea that because this is an international crisis right now, not to mention the humanitarian crisis for these individuals?
I think the concept of a safe zone maybe makes more sense than anything, where all of the countries, and not just us, where we foot the bill. We're always footing everybody's bill. Nobody else is involved. Nobody else pays. I think the concept of a safe zone in Syria would be a terrific concept relative to the other alternatives. I would say that would be something that would be very good. As far as our country is concerned, we could do a little bit. But again, I mentioned $19 trillion is what we owe. We're losing with everybody. We're losing with China, with Japan, with Mexico, both at the border and on trade. We just can't continue to go like this. We have to build our country back. We have to rebuild our infrastructure, our bridges, our roads, our schools. You look at what's going on with our airports. I go to other countries. We have airports that are incredible. You look at us, we're like a third world country. So we have to start thinking about ourselves. We cannot continue to do what we're doing. With that being said, I probably like the concept of safe zone better than any other alternative.
Well, just on sort of the fun side, Donald, I posted on my blog, Greta Wire, a 1988 interview of a very young Donald Trump, I might add, with Oprah Winfrey when you're talking about a lot of these trade issues. But that's just sort of for fun. You might want to go check it out.
I actually saw it, and I saw it through you, and I looked very young. I agree with that. And my stance has not changed that much. We were not doing too well internationally, and that hasn't changed. Look, now we're at a point where we owe so much money. We have to get back to work in this country. We have to go back. We have to make great trade deals. We cannot allow to happen what's been happening for the last long period of time.
Donald, thank you. I'm glad you go on Greta Wire. I'm flattered. Thank you.
Thank you very much.